World Rugby Rankings, the latest update. Wales are still number one. That part hasn't changed. There is a wee bit of movement on this side of the board, not so much on that side, with a lot of these teams not having played, or if they have been playing, a lot of them. There's been a few kind of non-test games going on in the lead up to the World Cup. There's still a few games on this weekend, so they will shift around once more potentially, but I'll go over some of those possibilities in a tick. At some point as well, I will do a video explaining the Rugby World Cup ranking system, not the Rugby World Cup ranking, the World Rugby Rankings system and how it works. I'm definitely no expert on it, but I've got a pretty good comprehension of it, so yeah. I'll put together some of the key points and put those in a video at some point. It is a flawed system, but I guess any system you put in place is never going to be 100% perfect. But yeah, so Wales still number one at 89.43. That's not guaranteed this week with them playing a game. Potentially Wales could drop and Ireland could even head up into second, depending on the way the result goes. So New Zealand could be back in first. But I think Wales will be favourites for that game against Ireland, so see how they go with a bit of pressure. I guess will be an interesting one. There's a lot of talk in the New Zealand media, and also Steve Hansen in his press conference when naming the All Blacks side, about the fact that the All Blacks always have pressure on them to win every single game. But some other teams potentially, when going into a World Cup, are not expected to win it. But there are teams at this World Cup, given how strong so many of the teams are, so many teams have got really high expectations, and one of his questions is how will teams deal with that. So that'll be an interesting one for Wales now that they've got the number one spot for other teams to hunt down. New Zealand's still second. They've only got one game to go before the World Cup, and that is against Tonga, so they've got this week off, having named their squad. England are a big winner. I've got the England kit on again. I feel like I'm wearing the England gear quite a lot, to the dismay of some of you and to the joy of others. I will say it is pretty comfy. Yep. So yeah, England are up to third from fifth spot, and you would have to say that England look good value for that spot. They have been strong of late. I know they lost that game away in Wales, but it wasn't a blowout. Demolition of Ireland, and a good win over Wales at Twickenham. But there's a lot of talk actually about, again, at the World Cup, how these teams will go playing at neutral grounds. Like, people are saying, oh, the All Blacks won't have Eden Park. The English won't have Twickenham, the Scottish won't have Murrayfield, the Welsh won't have the Principality. Yeah, that's kind of the way the World Cup works. But yeah, it will be an interesting one. So yeah, England into third, drops Ireland down to fourth from third. They're on 87.36, so a little bit behind England there. But as I said, they can jump up to number two with a win. South Africa dropped down, and this is another week where they kind of drop without having lost. They just... other teams just moved around them. So they're down into fourth, stable on 86.83. Australia stable in sixth. Scotland, the other mover, having won the reverse fixture over France at the weekend. They lost heavily away in France and then won back at Murrayfield. So they swapped and then they swapped back. So it's kind of steady as she goes. Scotland 79.87, up 0.86. And France down from 80.58 to 79.72. Everyone else is steady. No change in the rankings for them or in their points total, because, as I said, they haven't been playing. But there are a few games on this weekend. So Italy, if they get a big win over France, could actually go up, I think, a couple of spots. France would not like to lose to Italy in a warm-up game, but that could be a fun one. I think it's on a Friday, which is an interesting one. So we'll see what kind of crowd they get for that. Fiji, if they beat Tonga, because they're playing at the weekend as well, could go up to ninth with a win over Tonga. So they're currently behind Japan, so they would drop Japan down one spot. But Tonga, who aren't actually appearing on my board because they are down in 15th, could jump up to 13th with a win over Fiji. And that would also bump Argentina up. So there's all kinds of permutations going on depending on who beats who. As I said, there are other games being played. I think, did Russia play like the Jersey Reds or something the other day? So there's a lot of games. I think, is it Samoa who's playing like a Heartland 15 over here in New Zealand? There's lots of games going on. Not all of them test matches, but yeah, there's definitely a fair bit to look forward to. I'll just quickly rattle off the ones who aren't appearing on the board. So it's Tonga 15, Samoa 16, Spain, Romania 17, 18, Uruguay who are at the World Cup 19, Russia at the World Cup 20, Canada who are at the World Cup 21, Portugal who are not at the World Cup 22, and 23 is Namibia, who are the lowest ranked of the teams at the Rugby World Cup. But as I said in the previous video, there's a bit of talk that they could give Canada a pretty good run, as the Canadians haven't been in the best form. But yeah, those are the rankings. I'm really just kind of rubbing my hands together in anticipation for the World Cup. I'm sure most of you guys are as well. It's not too long to go now. Some more warm-up games to go. We'll keep hoping that nobody gets injured and everyone stays kind of fit, healthy, and on track for the World Cup. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the rankings. How fair do you think they are? Do you think England is good value also for third spot? Or do you think it's Twickenham having a big effect on them as well? I mean, as I said, the New Zealand media is talking the same thing about the All Blacks, because their only really convincing result of the Rugby Championship, which was actually after the Rugby Championship Bledisloe Cup, came at Eden Park. So there seems to be quite a few teams who really lift substantially at home, but that's why the World Cup is the great leveler, and potentially why Japan have some people a wee bit worried because they will be at home. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.